July 21st, 1973, 10:21 p.m., Lillehammer, Norway. One of Mossad's most reliable operatives sits in a car 30 meters from a bus stop, radio transmitter in hand. She's tracked 3 terrorists across Europe. 3 perfect operations, 3 dead targets, 0 mistakes. Tonight is supposed to be number 4. The man boarding the bus looks like Ali Hassan Salameh, the Red Prince, mastermind behind the Munich Olympics massacre where 11 Israeli athletes died. Medium height, dark hair, similar build. Close enough to the grainy 1968 photograph Mossad has been working from. But something feels wrong. He moves too casually, no counter-surveillance awareness, no security detail. And that pregnant woman with him 8 months along, would a terrorist really bring his wife to an operational zone? Training says verify. Instinct says abort. But the order from Jerusalem is absolute. Execute. She transmits the signal. 2 operatives approach the bus stop. 8 shots. The man falls. Then the radio crackles with words that will end her career. "We got the wrong man." Ahmed Bouchiki, 37 years old, Moroccan waiter, father of 2. No connection to terrorism, no connection to Munich, no connection to anything except looking vaguely like someone else in bad lighting. The Mossad operative in that car had spent 4 years hunting terrorists. 3 missions executed flawlessly. 3 targets eliminated without error. But this wasn't a terrorist. This was a waiter going home from the cinema. And the woman who gave the order knew it the moment the radio confirmed what her instinct had been screaming for hours. Her name is Sylvia Raphael. To understand how she ended up in Norway killing the wrong man, you need to go back to before she was an assassin, before she was a spy, before she was anything at all. Back to when she was invisible. Graf Rene, South Africa, 1963. Sylvia Raphael stands on a street corner watching 3 men beat a Jewish shopkeeper. Fists, kicks, blood on pavement. The crowd watches, but no one intervenes. She doesn't either. She's 26, born to a Jewish father and Christian mother, but raised entirely Christian. Never attended synagogue, never identified as Jewish. But something breaks inside her watching this violence, not heroism or sudden conversion, just a question that won't stop. Why am I doing nothing? That question follows her home, sits in her kitchen, waits in her bedroom. Within months, she makes the decision that will define everything that follows. She's leaving South Africa for Israel. She arrives in Tel Aviv with 1 suitcase, moves to a kibbutz, works in the fields, learns Hebrew. Later, she teaches English to children, and she's good at it, patient and clear, but teaching isn't enough. There's something restless inside her that started on that South African street corner. 1968. A man approaches her at a Tel Aviv cafe and asks without introduction, "Have you ever thought about doing something more for Israel?" The recruitment process is standard, but they almost reject her because at 31, she's too old for field work. Most operatives start in their early 20s. But she has something Mossad desperately needs. She looks Christian because she was Christian. Her mother raised her in the church, and she doesn't have the features or mannerisms that make someone immediately identifiable as Jewish. In intelligence work, this is invaluable for operating across Europe with a Western passport. The decision is made. But there's a condition. She disappears completely. No more teaching, no more kibbutz life, no more being Sylvia Raphael from South Africa. She becomes whoever Mossad needs her to be for as long as they need it. She accepts. Training begins immediately and she's sent to Canada, not for combat or weapons, but for one specific skill. She spends an entire year learning to speak French with a perfect Quebecois accent because Mossad has chosen her cover identity. Patricia Roxborough, a freelance photojournalist from Montreal. That name belongs to a real Canadian photographer living in Toronto who has no idea someone is about to steal her identity and use it to hunt terrorists across Europe. 1969. Sylvia Raphael ceases to exist. Patricia Roxborough is born. Paris, 1969. First mission. She approaches John Swain, a 21-year-old British journalist, posing as a photographer. She suggests they travel to Libya together to cover Muammar Gaddafi in what's actually a recruitment attempt, because Mossad wants him as an asset. He can't get a visa, so the mission is aborted. Years later, Swain discovers the truth about the charming photographer who invited him to Libya. He never knew, and that's exactly the point. This is what Sylvia does now. She moves through cities, approaches targets, builds trust, extracts information. She looks ordinary, forgettable, plain, not the femme fatale of spy novels, but just a woman you wouldn't remember 10 minutes after meeting her. That's her weapon. September 5th, 1972. Everything changes at the Munich Olympics when Black September terrorists take 11 Israeli athletes hostage. The German rescue attempt fails catastrophically, and all 11 Israelis die. The images broadcast worldwide show bodies on airport tarmac, families destroyed, a nation humiliated. Prime Minister Golda Meir gives the order: find everyone connected to Munich and eliminate them all. Operation Wrath of God begins with Mossad compiling a list of planners, coordinators, and financiers, anyone who helped make Munich possible. Sylvia Raphael receives her assignment to provide intelligence for the assassination teams. Her role is specific: track targets, document their patterns, map their vulnerabilities, and pass the information to hit squads. She doesn't pull triggers, but identifies who should be shot. October 17th, 1972. Rome, 10:47 p.m. Wales Wider walks toward his apartment building, and Mossad believes he's Black September's operations chief in Italy. Sylvia has been tracking him for 3 weeks, documenting every morning and evening, learning his routes and schedule, where he eats and sleeps. 2 men step from shadows and fire 12 bullets. Zwider collapses in the doorway, dead before hitting ground. Sylvia is 30 meters away in a car, hearing the shots and seeing him fall before the engine starts and the team drives away. No witnesses, no arrests, perfect execution. Mission 1 complete. December 8th, 1972. Paris. 9:15 a.m. Mahmoud Hamshari answers his phone at home, and a voice asks if this is Mr. Hamshari. He says yes, and the bomb inside the telephone receiver detonates. He doesn't die instantly, but succumbs to injuries weeks later in hospital. Mossad chose a phone bomb specifically because it requires the target to confirm his identity before detonation. No confirmation means no explosion, which eliminates the risk of killing the wrong person. Hamshari verified it was him, and then the bomb was triggered remotely. Sylvia provided the apartment layout, phone location, and timing windows while staying 2 kilometers away when it exploded. Mission 2 complete. April 6, 1973. Nicosia, Cyprus. 11:30 p.m. Hussein al-Bashir, a senior Fatah intelligence officer, is in his hotel room when the team Sylvia helped prepare enters, shoots, and exits in 90 seconds total. Al-Bashir dies in his bed, and the team escapes before hotel security arrives. Mission 3 complete. 3 missions, 3 dead terrorists, 0 mistakes, 0 exposure. Sylvia Raphael is becoming what Mossad values most: reliable. She doesn't hesitate or question or feel guilt, because every man she tracks was connected to Munich. They killed Jews, and she's helping kill them back. The moral calculus is simple in her mind. But according to later interviews with operatives who knew her, she wasn't a sociopath driven by bloodlust. She was driven by conviction, by belief that these men deserved to die. That belief made her effective, but also made her vulnerable, because belief can become certainty, and certainty doesn't question itself. That would matter in Norway. For now, the pattern holds. Track, document, report, kill, repeat. The machine works perfectly until it doesn't. July 19, 1973. Lillehammer, Norway. 4:30 p.m. Mossad has been hunting Ali Hassan Salameh, codename the Red Prince, mastermind behind Munich and Yasser Arafat's golden boy. Israel attempted to kill him 5 times before Lillehammer in Baghdad, Beirut, and Paris, but each time the operation was aborted because of too many civilians nearby, security too tight, or insufficient confirmation of identity. Then intelligence arrives that Salame is in Norway living under a false identity. 6 Mossad operatives, including Sylvia, converge on this small, quiet town where no one expects an assassination. They begin surveillance, and a man matching Salame's description appears. Medium height, dark hair, similar build. They're working from one grainy 1968 photograph with poor quality and bad angle. The man in Lillehammer looks close enough, but there's a problem. They've only been tracking him for 2 weeks when previous operations required 3 weeks minimum. Verification protocols demand multiple independent confirmations, cross-referenced sources, and physical evidence. Here they have visual similarity, and that's it. July 20th, 1973, 2 p.m. The target appears with a visibly pregnant woman, 8 months at least. This becomes the confirmation Mossad needs based on a simple assumption. Terrorists don't bring pregnant wives to operational locations, so this must be Salame living under deep cover with his family. The assumption is wrong, but no one questions it. According to sources who later interviewed team members, Sylvia expressed doubt and told her handler that something feels off. The man's behavior didn't match known patterns for Salame because he moved too openly and casually with no counter-surveillance awareness. But pressure from Jerusalem is immense, and the order comes through. If he appears with the woman again, execute, because tomorrow he might leave town, and this is the window. July 21st, 1973, 10:15 p.m. The man exits a cinema and walks toward a bus stop, while Sylvia sits in a car 30 meters away with the radio transmitter. Her training says, verify, her instinct says something's wrong, but the order from Jerusalem is clear, and she's been perfect for 9 months with 3 missions and 3 successes. She transmits that the target is moving to the bus. At 10:21 p.m., she gives the go signal. 2 operatives approach and fire 8 shots. The man falls and blood spreads across Norwegian pavement. At 10:23 p.m., the radio crackles. We got the wrong man. Ahmed Bouchiki, 37 years old, Moroccan waiter, married to a Norwegian woman, father of 2. No connection to terrorism, no connection to Munich, no connection to anything except being in the wrong place with the wrong face. The pregnant woman who confirmed the identity wasn't a terrorist's wife, but a waiter's wife who was about to become a widow. Sylvia sits in the car as the words repeat in her head. For the first time since 1972, the machine breaks. July 22nd to 24th, 1973. Norwegian police are efficient, and within 48 hours they've arrested all 6 Mossad operatives. The investigation is meticulous with false passports, rental cars, hotel records, and phone logs exposing the entire network. Sylvia is arrested in her hotel room on July 24th, and she doesn't resist or try to escape, even though there's a back exit and window with planned escape routes. She opens the door and lets them take her because the machine is broken, because she killed an innocent man, because for the first time in her life as a Mossad operative, she doesn't know what to do. The collapse is complete. From perfect hunter to prisoner in 72 hours, from 3 flawless missions to 1 catastrophic failure. Oslo, January 1974. The trial is public because Israel lobbied for a closed proceeding, but Norway refused, insisting that in a democracy, trials are transparent. The world watches. Sylvia sits in the defendant's chair, while the prosecution presents overwhelming evidence. False passports, surveillance logs, witness testimony. She is guilty of murder, and the question is only the sentence. Her lawyer, Aeneas Schut, mounts a defense, but Sylvia doesn't help. She doesn't testify, doesn't explain, doesn't apologize, just sits silently through the entire trial. Journalists speculate she's following Mossad protocol to never confirm or deny anything and protect the organization at all costs. The verdict is guilty with a sentence of 5.5 years. She shows no reaction. In prison from 1974 to 1976, Sylvia Raphael doesn't have to be someone else for the first time since 1968. No cover identity, no mission, no performance, just her alone in a cell. Aeneas continues visiting twice a week, bringing legal updates and court filings, but mostly they just talk. He asks questions no one else has asked, not about operations or Mossad, but about her. Why did you leave South Africa? What made you join Mossad? What do you think about when you're alone? She answers honestly, and for the first time in years speaks as herself. Not Patricia Roxborough or a Mossad operative, just Sylvia. He sees something the world doesn't. The prosecutors see a trained killer, and the media sees a spy, but he sees a woman who believed she was doing something right and discovered she was wrong. He sees someone broken. Slowly, without planning it or intending it, he falls in love with her. 1976. Aeneas arrives for a routine visit, and they sit across from each other in the prison meeting room with glass separating them and phone receivers connecting their voices. He says 3 words. I love you. Sylvia cries for the first time since the arrest, since the shooting, since Rome and Paris and Cyprus, for the first time in years. Not because she's in prison or facing years of confinement, but because someone sees her truly and loves her anyway. He proposes, and she says yes. The marriage ceremony happens in prison with vows spoken through glass. They can't touch, can't kiss, can't hold each other, but they're married. The irony is staggering. The woman who spent years hunting and killing finds love in a prison cell. The operative who lived under false identities finds someone who wants to know her real self. The assassin who showed no mercy receives mercy from the man defending her. If she had succeeded in Lillehammer, she would have continued killing mission after mission until capture or death or psychological collapse. The failure saved her, the mistake freed her, the collapse gave her a life. 1977. Sylvia serves 22 months instead of 5.5 years, thanks to early release for good behavior and quiet pressure from Israel and the United States. The message to Norway is clear. She didn't talk, she protected her sources, she honored her commitments, and that deserves consideration. Norway agrees, but with one condition. She is permanently expelled and can never return. She leaves Norway with Aeneas, and they move to Israel briefly before attempting to build a life elsewhere. 2 years later, Aeneas pushes the Norwegian government with a simple argument. She's my wife, and she's not a threat, so let her return. 1979. Norway grants a residence permit, and she returns. That same year, on January 22nd, another explosion occurs in Beirut. A car bomb on Rue Verdun kills Ali Hassan Salameh, along with his bodyguards and 4 civilians. The Red Prince, the man Mossad tried to kill in Lillehammer, the man they killed the wrong person trying to reach, is finally dead. Sylvia reads about it in the newspaper while Aeneas watches her face waiting for a reaction, for relief or satisfaction or vindication. She says nothing and feels nothing because that life is dead. From 1979 to 1992, she lives in Norway as a normal woman, married, quiet, no more operations, no contact with Mossad. They've severed her completely because of too much public exposure and too much risk. She doesn't mind, and for the first time since 1968, lives without performance, without mission, without killing. 1992. She returns to South Africa, not because Aeneas died since they separated peacefully, and not because she's running, but because she wants to close the circle by seeing the country she left and visiting the street corner where everything began. She lives quietly for 13 years with no interviews, no memoirs, no attempts to explain or justify, just silence. February 9th, 2005. Sylvia Raphael dies of cancer at 67, and her body is returned to Israel for burial at Kibbutz Ramat HaKovesh, the place where she lived briefly between South Africa and Mossad, the place where she was still just herself. The headstone is simple with just name, birth year, and death year. Nothing about Mossad, nothing about operations, nothing about the 3 terrorists she helped kill or the 1 innocent man who died because of her. As if life number 2 never happened. Sylvia Raphael's story taught Mossad a lesson that changed everything. Never execute without absolute certainty. After Lillehammer, Israel's intelligence service implemented protocols, requiring multiple confirmations before every operation. One woman's catastrophic failure became the foundation for decades of precision that followed.